Welcome to the first live of 2026. I'm so excited to be here with you. Today we're going to compare how the tools are going head to head when it comes to AI image generation. So what we're going to do in today's video is compare Gemini Nanobanana to ChatGPT AI image generation because as of December 18th, ChatGPT got a major update when it comes to AI image generation. If you knew a little bit about it beforehand, you knew that they were definitely straggling behind when it comes to the AI image generation, but their major update, we'll see, we'll vote on it, could potentially have them equal to or surpassing Nanobanana. Now, what I want you to gather from this is that in 2026, if you're a small business owner, you need to be scaling your essence with AI images, especially if you do video or live video. I'm never a proponent for using these AI images to look different than yourself or to put yourself in front of a mansion or a Bugatti or whatever if you don't have one. So you don't want to be deceptive, but you can scale your essence and do it in a very strategic way, in a way that is natural to you, in a way that looks like you with one of these tools. So what we're going to do is we're going to see which one's better when it comes to generating 3 different images that you could leverage for your personal brand. I'll put the prompts for these images in the description, and I do have a list of other prompts available for you if you're interested. All you have to do is connect with me on LinkedIn and ask for the prompts. Just connect or DM me prompts on LinkedIn. And so let's start. What we're going to do in the video is, again, compare it based on 3 images. So I'm going to put the same reference photo across the board. We're going to use the same prompts across the board for each of the 3 photos. And then we're going to look at who actually generates better AI images. And it could just be that one works better for my brand compared to yours. So my challenge to you is to test these prompts for yourself with the same reference photo in the way that I'm going to show you today. So let's start. By the way, if you have no idea who I am, my name is Shanae Murray. I have almost 1 million followers on LinkedIn, and I use both of these tools, but really one more than the other, and I'll let you guess which one. We'll guess at the end. To generate AI images, not just for myself, but for my clients. And one thing that I can tell you is that if you strategically create an AI image and you attach a story to it, it will more than likely outperform a real image. And it could do so even for someone with a small following. So over the weekend, I had a client. It's her first post in her first campaign. She has 2,000 followers. Now she has 2,500, but her post got 900 plus likes. It was an AI generated image with a story, and it was a very powerful one. This isn't the only case. I've done it for myself. I've tested this against other real images for myself, and I've also done it for other clients. And if it's done right, it could be extremely powerful. And it's something that you could post not just on LinkedIn, but on every other social media platform. So let's start. So what I'm going to do here is we'll start with the first prompt. We'll start with Gemini Nanobanana. So the way that you get there, let me share my screen. Is you get there by going to gemini.google.com/app. And I'll put the link to that in the description as well. And what you're going to do here is you're going to click create image. So you're going to click create image, and then you're going to upload a reference photo. So if you have a professional headshot that you've used on your social media profiles, or if you just have a good headshot with a similar hairstyle that you'd like to recreate against a white wall, you have a little bit of style that you would want to enhance, or a little bit of makeup where you look fine, basically. You want to make sure that the point is that with the reference photo, you want to have in mind that it's going to scale a little bit of the essence. So let's say that my hair was red and now it's not red. I don't want to use a photo with red hair because it's going to keep that. If I have glasses in the photo, it's going to lean towards generating images with the glasses. I may have to prompt it to do it without glasses. So you want to make sure that the elements in your reference photo that you're going to use across the board is one, there are things in the photo that you want to scale. So I'm going to just upload my headshot here, my reference photo. This is a real headshot. So I do highly recommend you use a real photo. This is a headshot photo that I had taken a couple years ago. The only real difference is that maybe my hair was 2 inches longer. That won't be the case in a couple of months, but nothing has drastically changed. And so I could use it. I've also tested this. So let's say you have 3 really good photos of yourself. You can use these prompts and then see which of the photos really tends to generate images that look more like you. And that's very important. So you test it with 3, you choose the one that you keep as a reference photo for the next few months whenever you generate the AI images for your personal brand. And that way you're not changing the input so much because as you change the reference photo, the output will change. So I hope that makes sense. So then what I'm going to do is I'm going to paste the prompt. And so this is a photorealistic executive headshot. It's framed from the shoulders up. I'm supposed to be wearing a white blazer with a luxury fitted white turtleneck. Here's a little bit of the lighting, the background, the lens, high-end editorial business photography, and candid smile. I'm going to click submit, and then it will start to generate the photo. So what we're going to do as this generates is we're going to do the same thing inside of ChatGPT. And the way that we do that is you would just go to ChatGPT, you would paste the same prompt, you would click the plus sign, and then you would add the same headshot. So you don't want to change the reference photo. And then here you would click create image, just so that it's tagged under image. It's the same prompt, same photo, and we're going to click the up button. Okay, so Gemini Nanobanana completed the prompt. So here we see what it created. Looks good. I like it. If you like it, what you'll do is you could hover over it and click download. What I like is that it didn't just take this image and basically put me in a white turtleneck, right? So it kept the essence of this image and then it changed the pose. It kept my body size pretty much the same, my hairstyle pretty much the same, the wrinkles pretty much the same, and my smile doesn't look fake. The skin texture looks really real, like there's a little like greasiness or glossiness. And if I went to a photo shoot today, it's probably 87% of the way there of how it would really look, especially if I just put in a couple of extensions for that same hair length. So, and I like the fact that it didn't embellish the makeup. So this is what Gemini Nanobanana can produce. Again, if I like it, I can download it, or down here, I could redo and it could regenerate an entire new photo. Let's go to what ChatGPT generated, and then we'll compare. So this was the output for ChatGPT with the same prompt. I like it. But I don't like it as much as the other one. And there's a few reasons why. So the pose of the neck, like the way my neck is turned, is seeming a little bit weird to me. Maybe I'm just being kind of nitpicky with that. I do like the ratio of how much space my body or my head is taking up on the photo. The makeup looks natural. The teeth look natural. But really, I could tell that it took a lot of just this photo and kept it pretty much the same stance and almost just changed the outfit. And when you're looking at generating the images for your personal brand, you want them to seem very natural. And that's what I would lean towards. So for this prompt, I'm going to lean towards Gemini Nanobanana. And not to say that this is bad, but just to say that I like Gemini Nanobanana's essence a little bit better. Seems more natural to me. For ChatGPT, if I wanted to download this, I would just click download. And as of now, there's no regenerate circle, which I'm sure they'll create in a very short amount of time. I will say, though, that based on the newest AI image generation capabilities of ChatGPT compared to the previous one, they've made tremendous progress. But I still, especially with this prompt or the headshot, the executive headshot, I would still personally lean towards Gemini Nanobanana. That may not be the case for you. So it may not be the case for certain facial features, for certain facial structures. You may find that you do much better inside of ChatGPT. You like the style more. I would just test it. But for the first prompt, Gemini Nanobanana took the cake. Okay. And if you agree, put a 1 in the chat. And here too. So this was the second image generation of the same prompt within Nanobanana. And again, you see 1 of 2. Here's the first one. Here's the second one. So there's just things that seem more natural, like the darkness here, the glossiness of the face, the way that the neck is kind of angled, the wrinkles in the turtleneck. This one just seems more natural to me. And that's my style. So if I were like a model or something, or maybe if I liked a more curated and embellished look, I may lean towards ChatGPT. But for now, this one takes the cake. Now let's go to a second prompt, because I like to test them across the board. And we'll go to a second prompt. Hold on. So for this one, we're going to generate a more dramatic black and white headshot that I think is a good one to have for any personal brand. Now, you could do this one of 2 ways inside of Nanobanana. You could always come up here and click Edit Prompt. And then what you would do is you would insert the new prompt here. I don't recommend doing that, though, because when you have there's a way where you could see all the photos that you've generated. And when you see that library, if you continue to change the prompts within the same chat, you lose the history of what prompt you used. So I wouldn't necessarily do that. So what we'll do is we'll click up here and we'll click New Chat. And we're going to do the same thing. So I'm going to paste this prompt. So this is create a dramatic black and white editorial close-up portrait of this person. Face is directly towards the camera. Eyes are looking straight into the lens. Hair is swept back naturally with minimal styling. Okay. And then all I'm going to do again is click create image and upload my headshot. And then I'm going to click submit. And in the meantime, I'm going to do the same thing inside of ChatGPT. And again, upload the same headshot reference photo. Click the upward blue arrow and let it generate. So here for Nanobanana, looks pretty good. It is definitely what I asked for. So create a dramatic black and white close-up of this person. Face is towards the camera. Eyes are looking straight into the lens. It's exactly what I asked for. The only thing here is that my chin is not a cleft chin, and the shadows seem a little bit weird. But honestly, the how the face looks other than the chin and how the hair, like even the little curly cues here and stuff, it looks very, very natural. And again, if I want to redo, I could just click redo. And we'll go to ChatGPT. And this doesn't really look like me, right? So, I mean, I look like a supermodel in this particular one. I feel like I look like one of those supermodels for like, I think it took a little bit essence of a Victoria's Secret supermodel, but this is just not how my chin is. It changed my mouth, it changed my lips, it changed my nose. It kept my hair, and it also kept the same shirt on, which I think is a little bit strange. So this is not a win for me. Gemini won this one as well. If you agree with that, put Gemini in the chat if you agree with that. Now again, this may be my facial structure. It may not be for everyone, but so far, Gemini is taking the cake. And here's the other one that it did. As you could tell, it keeps my wrinkles, which I may tell it remove a few. It keeps the naturalness of the hair around here, around the forehead. It keeps the same size of the nose, and it removed the chin here a little bit. So it just looks a lot more real, and I would use this one. All right, let's do the last prompt. Let's see. We'll do a more motion one. So what we're going to do for this prompt is, again, to generate a new one, you'll just click new chat. And then you'll upload the same you'll click create image, which you could do also by clicking tools. You could also just click here and then upload the exact same headshot. So this is create an image of this person in front of a podcast microphone dressed in a mock neck luxury blouse in a simple recording or office setup that feels credible and polished. So this should be like I'm being interviewed on a podcast. We'll see. And we'll do the same for chat. Upload. So I'm going to click create image and upload the same. So here's the image that Nanobanana produced, and it does seem natural. It seems like I'm in the middle of a conversation. And what we could do now is test adjusting a little bit of the image. So I could say, make the blouse black, make her wear podcast headphones. And we'll see how it adjusts. Now, the one upside with ChatGPT images so far that I've seen is that when you download them, there won't be a marker on the image. When you download the Gemini Nanobanana image, there is this little, you see the little signal here? It's like a little diamond. And there are ways to remove it in Canva or your iPhone. It's the watermark. There's probably apps to remove it as well, but just keep that in mind. So this is a lot more like me. And I could even change the background. I could say, make it seem like she's using her hands to express herself in mid conversation. But for the most part, it looks very natural. Let's see what ChatGPT did. And again, it's struggling. It's struggling a little bit. It doesn't seem like I'm being interviewed. It just seems like I have a podcast microphone in front of my face. However, it kind of did follow the prompt. So create an image of this person in front of a podcast microphone in a simple recording or office setup. So with ChatGPT, you may have to tend to be a lot more specific. And for me, with the prompting, I like the intuitiveness of Gemini. It has an intuitiveness, or its programming just understands how to make things seem more natural. And what I'll do with this one as well is I'll add the adjustments that I made to the first one. So make the blouse black, make her wear podcast headphones. And again, it's tending to almost just take my face in my headshot and not really change expressions or angles or any of that. Victoria, I like it too. It made me look like a supermodel, but it just doesn't look like me. Victoria's like, low key, you look better in the other one. Victoria's like, I like when it made you look not like you. That's funny. I'm playing around. No, I mean the black and white one is gorgeous. Like, but it just, that's not matching my personal brand essence. My personal brand doesn't lean towards that. Now, if my personal brand leaned more towards like that wow factor, so to speak, in terms of like looks and all of that, then that may be a different story. So this is a little bit better. I feel like there's a lot of space between this ear and the headphone, but we're getting closer. And maybe if I asked it to shift the body more towards the left or whatever, angle it more. I mean, it's not bad, right? I just think the other one looks more natural. I do like the background of this one more. It shows more of like an office background versus a podcast studio background. You know, to each their own preference. It's not bad. I'll say that. If you wanted to share this with somebody, you could. Same thing with Gemini. So I could share it. I could copy the link and maybe send it to somebody, whatever, like a friend or a group chat. I could share it on X, LinkedIn, or Reddit. But if you're going to share it on those platforms, I advise that you download it and then, you know, upload it natively. Let me see this one. And then again, same thing here. So you could export to docs, you could draft in an email, you could hover over it and download it, and you could also share the chat, I believe, as well. Where is it? Right. And you could pin it. I like it. I thought you could share it too. Hold on. Maybe not. So we'll do one more just to make it fun because I have a lot in here. We'll do one where there's a lot more specific details. And we'll do it because it seems that ChatGPT likes the details. So we'll do one more. And again, if you want these prompts and more prompts, let me know. All you have to do is connect with me on LinkedIn and message me prompts. And then we'll do the same on ChatGPT. The prompt here is create an image of this person as a soft editorial portrait. It's 3/4 towards camera left, the person's face at approximately 35 degrees. Eyes are looking into the camera lens. Hair is styled a certain way, realistic skin texture. So there's just a lot of details that maybe will lean into ChatGPT's favor. I like it, but I would never take a picture like that. The cool thing that I like about Gemini is that you could also edit the prompt. So let's say that I wanted to edit the photo. I could edit the prompt up here, create an image of this person. Okay. Hair is styled, photographed, realistic. Da, da, da. Subject's face is turned. I'm going to say candid smile, just because I tend to always take photos with a smile. And if I were going to take a serious photo, it would probably be a black and white photo, or it would probably be a forward facing close up. Struggling a little bit with this one. It's not bad, but it's not the best. ChatGPT is struggling with this one too, although it's a little bit better. But for some reason, it's just leaning towards giving me a look of like a lot of cosmetic surgery, which I'm not against, but I just don't have realistically. And it's changing something in my face that just is looking unnatural. And again, the neck angles are just kind of creeping me out a little bit. So I'm not going to go with any of them on that prompt. And that's something to learn too. You want to test different types of prompts. And what you're doing as you're testing prompts is you'll find that your essence is better scaled with shorter prompts, longer prompts, and the prompts that really hit with your personal brand that you're like, whoa, that looks exactly like me. You almost want to store a file or keep a list of those prompts, because think about it, those are almost like codes for your personal brand to accelerate the scalability. And that's the IP, right? Is coming up with the prompts that scale your essence in the best way possible and using these tools to do it. So again, if you want some of the prompts, just message me prompts on LinkedIn. I hope that you like this. I thought that it would be cool to compare. And this is just for a few headshots, and there's so many more. So I may do another live tomorrow, maybe comparing for infographics or for more body shots or more in motion shots, kind of like the podcasting one, because you shouldn't just only have close up portrait headshots. There needs to be different poses, and then especially depending on what it is you do. So if you do something outside, you should change that environment. If you do a lot of speaking, networking, there are ways to incorporate different people into the prompts, different backgrounds, different environments. But this is just a good little simple test of which tool works best for your brand. I think for me, Gemini definitely won. It has the most naturalness, and My brand leans towards natural, not overly embellished. So that will work best for me. But ChatGPT has definitely improved a lot compared to its last image generation model. So it's almost head to head. And that's that. I hope that you enjoyed it. If you want to see more videos like this, go to the YouTube. There are a ton of AI tutorials, and I have so much more in in the pipeline for you. A lot of interesting things. So make sure that you go over there and subscribe, and you'll be the first to see the videos over there. Ciao.